what if you're like on your deathbed and someone like goes by you for a second, they like touch your nipple and then you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. I don't want you to be on your deathbed and have a nipple-gasm. Have it now. You're listening to Sex with Emily. I'm Dr. Emily, and I'm here to help you prioritize your pleasure and liberate the conversation around sex. Today, we're talking about something that gets so overlooked. I mean, more than it should, breasts. No, I'm serious. Like, you used to hear that, oh, it's all about the breast, but then sometimes we just skip right over everything and go right for penetration. Did you know that so many women can have nipple-gasms? It's a real thing. In fact, when you stimulate the clitoris and the nipples, it stimulates the same part of your brain. Even men can reach orgasm through nipple play. So I get into it. I give you all my tips and tricks to help you explore this really underappreciated erogenous zone. There's so many erogenous zones, you guys. Let's have some fun. I'll also take your questions, including a very interesting call from a masseuse whose business has recently taken an interesting and sexy turn. Please rate and review Sex with Emily wherever you listen to the show. It helps get the show out to more people, and it just takes you a few seconds to do it. You can just do it right now. Look at your phone, look at your app that you're listening to this on, and review us. We so appreciate it. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or X, and Facebook. All the places. It's all at Sex with Emily. Check out my new articles, How to Master Sex in the Water and How to Have an A-Spot Orgasm. Those are up at sexwithemily.com. And don't forget to sign up for my text messages. You can find the link in the show notes. All right, everyone, enjoy this episode. I asked my Sex with Emily audience their most embarrassing penis questions, and one that kept coming up was, how can I increase my ejaculation? Helped by the ever-growing popularity of the money shot in pornography, semen volume seems to be a conversation growing in popularity. So can you really increase your load? Well, the answer is yes. You've got to get your hands on Popstar's volume and taste enhancers. These supplements help build up semen and increase ejaculatory volume. Not to mention, there's an added bonus of improved semen taste. We've all heard that age-old rumor to eat pineapple to taste better. Well, this supplement actually uses the bromelain from pineapple along with zinc and L-arginine to improve your overall taste in 2 to 3 weeks. This product was created by 2 of the country's leading men's sexual health physicians, so you're in good hands. Popstar is all natural, high quality, vegan, and non-GMO, made from the best ingredients and scientifically proven to work. Plus, you know I've got you guys with a discount code. You can save 20% with code Emily at popstarlabs.com/Emily. That's popstarlabs.com/Emily. popstarlabs.com/Emily. Use code Emily at checkout. By now, you've probably heard my magic wand story. It's a brand that's been part of my personal journey for more than 20 years. But no matter how many times I sing Magic Wand's praises, I'll never be able to fully capture the story of this incredible brand. Well, now journalist and author Kate Sloan just completed a limited audio series documenting the history and impact that Magic Wand has created over the last 56 years. It's called Making Magic. And the series chronicles Magic Wand's incredible brand story through interviews with nearly 40 experts, performers, business owners, educators, and fans. So I got a sneak preview of this series, and what I loved is that Kate weaves together snippets from all their interviews into this amazing story arc. She covers Magic Wand's journey from appliance store massager to its legendary influence on culture and sexual independence, and it's all just fascinating. The first episodes of Making Magic are available now at makingmagicseries.com or on all popular podcast platforms. Just search for Making Magic or visit makingmagicseries.com today. Let's talk to John and his wife, 50 in Illinois. They've called in before. Hi.
Hi, Emily.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. So last time we spoke, I was bragging to you about your advice of just take it down, which worked with the blowjob after we've been together quite a long time. And my wife has a wicked gag reflex. So anyway,
I said just take it down. Just have her just swallow it and just take it down. Is that what I said? Take one for the team?
No. Well, it was a combination of the salted caramel lube and then your advice of also like, at some point you just got to take it down. And that's exactly what she said after. I was like, holy shit, how'd that happen? And she's like, I just took it down. And I was like, all righty.
Okay. So, and the Muse lube, it's
huge.
I
was bragging about that to you, but I did tell you the one thing I wanted to follow up on because she was at work at the time and now she's here. And so I wanted to follow up on the orgasm gap because that's the thing that kind of stresses me out. Like I come each and every time and I'm like very happy about that, but sometimes I feel guilty because I'm happy to give oral. A lot of times I get shot down because it's like, no, it's not the right time. And also too, we've bought all these kind of different vibrators and things like that, but like I don't really think she takes time for the whole like masturbation thing and all that. So, we have sex probably 3 to 4 times a week and I bang out a couple solo sessions too on top of that. So I'm all good. But I really wanted to focus more on her. So I set that up and here she is. So I'm kind of putting her on the spot a little bit because she got home from work and I was like, we're calling Emily tonight because the kids are not here and I want to get this out.
I'm so happy. No, this will be good. We can just talk here and chat. So tell me your name if you want to. Or you can change your name.
Hi, so I'm Julie.
Hi, Julie. Julie, let's talk. Hi, I want to hear from you. What do you think is going on? Like, how do you feel about this orgasm gap that John comes every time and you not so much?
So, honestly, to me, it's kind of like, no, I think it's just like the norm. Like, I guess I don't really think it's anything strange because it's just how, is. And I've always kind of told him, like, I love being with you and all that. And I just personally don't know how I could have an orgasm sexually.
And so I can't help myself. When I started listening to you 2 years ago, I was floored that only 20% of women have that because I was always like, oh, shit, I wish I could give her an orgasm with sex. But I didn't know that. So that was one thing that was like so unbelievably helpful to most males on the planet.
Yes. I'm trying to get it out there, John. I literally, if I could buy a billboard here in Hollywood, I would buy a billboard that says only 20% of women are going to orgasm with your penis. So, that's the truth.
I keep interrupting, but I had a huge smile on my face because the cleaning lady came today. And before they did, there's like 4 lubes on our nightstand. There's Uber Lube. There's, what's the coconut one? I'm drawing.
Oh, Woo More Play?
Yeah.
Yep. And then the warming one that you recommended, we haven't tried that yet, but it's sitting on the nightstand. Yeah. And then there's Pure, and then there was something else. I was like, we have like a cornucopia of lubes.
You have all my favorite lubes. We have matching nightstands. That's amazing. You guys
exactly. So, okay. Sorry, I'll stop interrupting.
No, you have a lot of lubes. John, you guys are adorable. Okay. So, Julie, it's kind of how I felt about Me Too, not to go all political here, but I was like, oh, yeah, men are going to hit on you and be inappropriate. Married men, that's just what it is. I have to play the game and flirt with guys and not say anything about guys being inappropriate. But now we found out, oh, no, that's not okay in the workplace. I feel the same way about the orgasm cap. Because, Julie, I used to think, well, you know what? I'm just not going to have an orgasm every time or most times. I'll never have, something's wrong with me because it doesn't happen with a penis, but I'll just fake it or whatever. And then I started to realize all this information that, okay, most women aren't orgasming with a penis, but they do orgasm. The majority of women will orgasm with a mouth, with fingers, with a toy and lube.
Yeah.
I basically won't orgasm pretty much any other way unless I have a lot of foreplay, like someone goes down on me and they do other things. I'm in the mood. I have enough time. And then maybe during penetrative sex, I'll have an orgasm, but it's not every time. So that's why I think what might be good for you guys is some she comes first action where John is using a toy on you, using his mouth. And then he said that you weren't always in the mood for it or it wasn't the right time. Is that, or do you like it?
Oh, yeah. I do for sure. Very much so. It's just that I think it's one of those things too where I'm like, I don't have time. Like I'm stressed out or whatever, or like, I have to get up for work or the kids are home or all those things that are very common, I know, but I just feel like, no, I don't know why, but I just kind of, and then if we do, I'm always like, I'm glad we did. And it was, a good thing.
Oh no, sometimes I'll like practically beg and then I will give her oral, she'll have a great orgasm. And I'll be like, that was the best. And she's like, I know, right? I'm like, I know. Like, I like, it's getting her to the party is a lot of the problem.
I think too, yes, because it's not an easier.
Well, and then sometimes I track it in my head. I'm like, sweet Jesus, I've had like 15 orgasms to her one. And Emily's talking about the orgasm gap. I'm like, I feel like I'm contributing to it.
Yeah. Well, let's end that right now. I mean, it sounds to me like you're talking about having some stress, Julie, which a lot of us do. I'm telling you, that's why so many of us, and men too, but I hear it more from women. They're like, I don't have time to come down after work, and I'm so stressed out, and there's so much more to do, and the laundry, and we get home, women take on more of the homework as well, the household work and kids. Right. So I think what might be good is a grounding exercise. John would maybe, Julie, if you would be into this, what if he gave you a massage for 15 minutes or massaged your feet and you put down your phone and he got you in the mood and used some massage oil or just, or took a bath? Is there a reset? Because I know if I'm with somebody and they just like rub my back for like 10 minutes, I'll be like, okay, I'm in. It's a change of state. I think you said you have the Xsens, which is the warming lube, but they also have a warming massage oil. Yeah. I mean, I think you need the change of state, right? You need the let me get into the mindset for sex, which is what the majority of women need. We do. And we just sort of, but then they feel like you do, Julie. Like, once I got going, that wasn't so bad. Kind of like going to the gym, right? When we don't want to go to the gym and then we get our the hardest part of it is getting our shoes on. And then we get out the door. That's hard too. But then we get there and we're like, oh, okay, not so bad. Sex is like that. But how do we get you to link up that amazing feeling afterwards with just getting started? And so I'm trying to think of some hacks here to speed it along for you.
Right. No, the massage thing, I do try. The one complaint I think you have too is like usually I have a boner with the massage. I'm giving TMI here, I'm trying to slip in wherever I can because I'm so turned on.
Well, that maybe you need to give her so then, because as women, I think Julie's like me. Probably she's a giver, pleaser. She's like, oh, I'm not there yet, but you really want to go, and so maybe you got to take the dick out of her back,
No, amen, sister, preach.
For sure, yes.
Right? Like leave your boxers on, leave your underwear on while you're doing it and just make it about Julie. And then Julie will feel your attention. She'll feel the love. She'll feel the connection. She'll you're going to be literally, massage isn't just a light, oh, this is a nice thing to do. It literally are calming her nerve endings. We're getting stimulated. Her oxytocin, her serotonin, her dope, all those feel good hormones are getting stimulated by the touch. That's why we all love massage so much. It releases stress. That means, so we have to wring her out. We have to get the stress out so you can get in, John. I had to commit to it because I thought that I wasn't able to have an orgasm either that way until I took, and it didn't happen the first time. It took me like months.
Oh, wow. Okay. Right. Because that's kind of where I'm at. Like, well, it's just not in my body. Like, it's just not how I'm built, or something.
Yep. You are. I believe you can. I believe that most women can have most kinds of orgasms if they commit to trying it and not giving up and trying the process. But I thought I couldn't because I bought a toy like years earlier that was a rabbit vibrator, like literally the rabbit that came out. And I used it once, didn't do anything, never went back to it. Because I thought it was the kind of thing where, oh, you just try it once and it works, right? Like it should just work. Like I'm just not built that way. But I realized I had to learn my own body.
I would be that way too.
Okay, so we're the same. There you go. We're like twins. We had to figure it out. But I'm telling you, I think it's possible. And John is a very enthusiastic partner. And so you could, use some toys together. You could do mutual masturbation together. But I would just plan and I would be patient and I would pay attention to what you're feeling. And I think it's all possible. But I can't tell you for sure that you'll be able to have it during penetration. Maybe if you have a clitoral vibrator on your clitoris, sometimes that helps to have the internal, but just play with it. Get curious. John, you got to keep your penis in your pants for a little bit and warm her up.
Well, one other, I have a question and then a comment. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So first question is, I'm struggling a little with the Kiven method too. I start that and she kind of is not totally into it. And I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Okay. How are you doing it? We're talking about the oral sex method that's called the Kiven method.
So typically I start oral with just the clitoris and she always is like lighter, and I feel like my tongue's barely touching. That's one of the, she always like
super
lightly.
Sensitive.
Yeah. So it's super sensitive. And after she has an orgasm, she won't allow any touching, which is fine. Although I did tell you I did the cupping of the vulva, which you liked, so that was good.
But, I love the cupping of the vulva. Right.
Yeah.
I remember talking about that. Okay.
I tried the Kivin, and maybe it wasn't long enough, is now after hearing you tell Emily about not really giving it a full go, like, thinking it's going to work instantly.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, probably give up too easily sometimes.
Yes, I do too. But I think that you could just kind of stop and go around and tease play with her nipples and play with her breasts and do other things and then come back to the clitoris. But the Kivin method is from the side to side. So you never should with oral sex go right for the clitoris. I think it's about teasing and kissing the inner thighs and licking around the clitoris, licking around the pubic mound and all the areas around it, the labia. And then you get to the clitoris. But there's also the Kivin method is about stimulating those nerve endings from side to side. So thigh to thigh, those like you're going up, you're perpendicular lying between her legs, thigh to thigh, not toes to head. So that then you're covering more nerve endings. So you're going like outer labia, inner labia, inner labia, outer labia, back and forth that way. So you're hitting all the nerve endings.
This makes total sense because the only other time I gave her a clitoral orgasm from behind, but I gave like a massage with the Muse lube first and rubbed all around, which I was unable to do previous, but with the lube, you were fine with it. Then I licked all over the place, then got to the clitoris, and then we were all good. So
that is hot. Okay. From behind is so hot. That is underrated. Oh, we should talk about that more too.
It was the best.
You're reminding me of all these good things. Cupping the vulva, just putting your hand on the vulva after orgasm, or just starting to warm it up. Then you're like warming up the whole area. But then licking from behind is so freaking hot because you're stimulating different nerve endings. You're coming at it differently. And then you get to the clitoris. Yes. Do that
She
then
can
more.
usually only have an orgasm on her back. That was the first time she had one on all fours, which I was in heaven.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, when we're like walking the dogs, we'll be like, so we're outside the bedroom. Emily would approve of this. I have something to tell you. I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. So anyway.
Oh, good. You guys are my favorite. Okay.
Yeah, my last thing, I was walking the dogs the other day, and neighbor, like someone who we know pretty well stopped and was like, hey, how are you? What? Sorry, are you on a conference call? I was like, oh, no. I'm like, and I just decided to be super honest. I was like, how's your sex life with your husband? I'm listening to Sex with Emily. It is so good. I'm like, I don't know where you guys are at. I know nothing about it, but this is TMI. Listen to Sex with Emily.
Oh, thank you. You guys are fabulous. Oh, my God. You guys keep me posted. I love hearing from both of you. Thank you for calling. All right. Here's what's up. I'm thinking a lot about breasts lately. And I believe that they're the most underappreciated erogenous zone. I've talked about this before. Growing up, you kept thinking like, oh, they're going to, remember when you started fooling around people, they would first touch your breasts and then they would go down your pants, all the bases, right? But there was so much focus on the breasts and people loving the breasts and all these things. But then I realized what happens is, at least for me and maybe some of you, I've heard, that you just kind of skip right over them and you go right to sex, right? That's that whole, in relationships, when you stop kissing and you go right to the sex, I think we stop playing with the breasts as well. We stop realizing that they are these incredible sources of pleasure. Now, I am talking about women right now, but I think that for many men, your nipples, your breasts can feel great too. I don't think that it's every man, but it's kind of like straight men with their prostate. That a lot of guys are like, no way, no go, makes me gay, da-da-da. But now I think that men are realizing that, no, the sex act does not make you gay, and you have this incredible erogenous zone on your body, you might as well explore it. And I think that men are opening up to that more. I'm not sure if breast plays the same, that maybe men, if they let themselves go and didn't think it was such a feminine thing, that it would feel great. But I have asked a lot of my gay friends too, and it is, I think it's more of a case-by-case basis. I just don't think we can underestimate the power of it because, so first of all, to repeat what I said earlier in the show is that the same region of your brain lights up, activates when your clitoris and your breasts, when they're stimulated. And a lot of women can have breast gasms. You can have an orgasm through breast touch, which makes sense. If you want to know the specific term, it's the genital sensory cortex. The same region of stimulation by the vagina and the clitoris is activated through nipple play. So it can happen too. Maybe you could already be aroused. You could already be having, being turned on with like some playing around, some foreplay, some oral sex. And then you could start playing with the breast, but you could also, they might be more receptive at that point because you have all the receptors firing. And the breasts, just like the clitoris, the clitoris expands and the clitoris grows. And for women who have a clitoral hood, it can kind of, when you're turned on, it retracts a little bit. Well, the same thing happens with your breasts. They temporarily change in size and sensitivity as you get more aroused. So it's really fun to experiment with different strokes. The first thing is, just like the clitoris, you don't want to go right for the nipples, really hard or twisting. I think you should never really twist them unless your partner's into that kind of thing. But make sure that your partner is ready to receive the stimulation, because that's the key to making nipple play really hot, because they are a sensitive erogenous zone. Another tip is to just start with a scalp massage. I should have told this to John and Julie earlier. If you play with the scalp, that can also stimulate blood flow throughout the body. And then you can move down and pay attention to the neck and the shoulders, collarbone, kiss down their body. Another great thing that I'm using tonight is a massage candle. I'm obsessed with massage candles, just so you know. They warm, you light them. They're not like regular candles. They're made of coconut oil or soybean oil. And then you light them for 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, and then you blow it out. And you just wait a few minutes and then you pour it on your partner's body. And that would feel amazing on the nipples, because we're talking about heat play too. Your whole body becomes covered in this beautiful oily, it's not oil though. It's not oily messy. It's just massage oil. And it's from the candle that was hot, but it's warm. It won't burn you. And then your body's really warm. And then your partner can even lay on top of you, and it becomes this slippy, slidey, super sexy experience. But then you could also leave a bowl of ice cubes by the bed, and then you could put an ice cube in your mouth and use that and trace it over her nipples. The areola is a very sensitive part too. Sometimes they say that the top part of the areola, which is the ring around the nipple, that is also sensitive. So again, it's not just a one size fits all. There's not a blueprint for every breast, but that could work. So also you want to take your time. You could even, how we were talking about the vulva cupping earlier with our guy, John? What I meant by vulva cupping is take your hand and the palm of your hand can start right where her vaginal opening is, and then it cups up and your fingers go around the top of her vagina. Or you could do it the other way too, just a cupping, and your hand just resting right there. And it really can help sort of start to stimulate nerve ending, all the nerve endings at once. And it feels really good. It's a very safe feeling. It's a very grounding feeling. Well, the same thing can happen with the nipples. You can just put your warm hands over the breasts to build anticipation. And then you could the sides of the breasts are also really sensitive. Taking your fingers and brushing them over the side, using your tongue, and just sort of teasing all around. And the folds underneath it, especially if you're wearing a bra all day, that feels really good too. I'm always so focused on the clitoris and the vulva, but I think the breasts, there's a lot there. I hope that this is sparking some of you to be oh yeah, my partner has breasts. Totally forgot about that. Start slow, build up. Let's talk to Fred in Texas, 60. He's got some comments on breast play. Tell me everything, Fred.
How are you tonight, Emily?
Great. How are you, Fred?
Good.
Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Well, a couple of quick comments. One about the breast play. So, my wife is my second wife. Both my wife and then her husband had passed away, and we met afterwards, and so we're kind of going through a second round of learning about each other and ourselves. But anyway, she has relatively small breasts, and I have found it somewhat difficult to get them to be sensitive and have her focus and like them being, had attention paid to them. But I have found that sometimes when she does it herself and we're in the act, that it actually is more effective. Is that something you recognize?
I actually would talk about that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that playing with our own breasts can also be really stimulating for many women. I think absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that many women do that as well. So.
The other comment I'll make is that she has learned to lick and suck my nipples, and that's an amazing turn on that I've never experienced before.
Yes.
And it's me envisioning her sucking another woman's breast, but at the same time, the sensation of it and knowing that she likes to do it is really a big turn on for me.
Oh, yeah, that's what I think, Fred. For many men, it is, but they just never had anyone try it. Wait, are you saying that it feels good because you're picturing her be with another woman?
Well, there's kind of that potential visual impression that I
Yeah.
get, but at the same time, having the physical sensation to go with it is all pretty amazing.
Yeah. That sounds really fun, Fred. I love that you guys are exploring now in your second chapter, second marriage and your six. I love this. Yeah, this is what I say. There's so many erogenous zones on our body, and we often don't even pay attention to them. We spend our whole lives not like with all this pleasure right on our bodies. So,
and sex at 60 is better than it ever was at 30, so don't give up hope.
Okay, Fred, super inspiring. Thank you, Fred. I love it.
Good night.
Thanks for those comments. Really helpful. You guys, it just gets better. I think that everything that we pay attention to, that we spend time on, that we care about, that we want to get good at, takes a little bit of time, takes us prioritizing, takes us focusing, but that's how it happens. That's how it happens. Better at 60. Whose sex life's getting better and better? I want that for all of you. I want that for everyone. I mean, I know from my sex life gets better every single year since I've been in this career. Not before that. I was like a lot of you. I thought that I couldn't have orgasms in certain ways and that I was never going to be turned on and I was never going to like sex again. Da, da, da. But I've learned that it's a practice, just like everything that we care about, that we prioritize. Sex is not a destination. It is a journey. We are all on a path. I welcome you to join us on the sexiest sex path here on Sex with Emily. Maybe try that tonight. Like, just see how it goes. Go slow. Maybe your partner hasn't felt it before, but you want to just kind of check in and see how it feels. Because what if you're like on your deathbed and someone like goes by you for a second and they like touch your nipple and then you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. I had no idea. It felt so good to get my nipples touched, and now I'm about to die. I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to be on your deathbed and have a nipple-gasm. Have it now. Have it now. Try this one. Tracing a swirl from the outside and trace the tip of your finger from the outside edges of the breast and slowly circle your way to the center. And then when you're doing this, and you could do this on your own when you're masturbating. Just like Fred said, his partner gets off on that too. I know that that's for me too. When I touch my own breast, when I'm already like turned on, that feels really good. So either you or your partner can do this and you take your finger and you just move from circles from the outside of the breast to the inside. You could have some lube on your finger. You could wet your finger. And then when you're doing that, slow down and just pay attention to the moment. Like, what are you feeling? What's the texture? What's the contour? What's the sensations that you're feeling as you're moving your finger in towards the nipple? Sarah, 22 in New York City, says she started seeing someone new. We're running into some sexual difficulties. He hasn't been able to maintain erection. We tried a number of times. He loses erection as soon as it looks like things are heading towards sex. He also won't attempt any other sexual acts, won't touch my breasts or butt without his hands being moved to those areas. I want him to initiate sexual activities and sex with me. I've expressed my interest in having him be more sexually aggressive. I wondered if he's interested in me or in sex. He assured me that that's not the case. He's been sexually active before, says he actually has a high sex drive, but I think he's in his head now. Any suggestions? Are we just sexually incompatible? He also indicated a desire to get into a relationship, but I don't feel comfortable doing so without seeing whether we're sexually compatible. Any suggestions on having the talk without putting more pressure on the performance? It's a great question. So this is something, gosh, I could go off on this forever, but she's 22. I'm going to assume her partner is about in his 20s, that men are losing erections now more frequently at a younger age than I ever heard from people before. Now, a lot of times it's because of anxiety or a repeated pattern of losing an erection. So then you're like, oh, I'm going to lose an erection. And usually it's because you're really in your head. And for some men, there's a lot of different reasons why this could happen. It could be happening because he's watching a lot of porn. You know, maybe when there's not the stimulation of porn. I mean, think about it. When you're 22, you essentially grew up with porn. You grew up with it on your phone. You had an iPad when you grew up with it. And so that's how you picture sex. So porn is always the precursor to sex, right? Every time you masturbate, you watch porn, masturbate. And then you're into real life and you're having sex with a real human. And it might just feel like your body isn't isn't ready. It isn't prepared for it. It's sort of off because you're not having that porn precursor. That's one theory. I would recommend that you just talk to him about his porn watching, and if that's part of it, or there could just be some pressure, some anxiety around it. Maybe it's happened before. He might be on medications that could cause that. If he's drinking a lot, that could also cause it. There's also studies that have shown lately that this generation of people, like in the younger, in their 20s and teens, are maybe born with less testosterone. It could be a hormone issue where they're saying it's because of our foods and certain things. This is a newer theory, but it could be that, because I'm hearing it more and more often in ways that don't actually didn't make sense. But it could be porn, it could be anxiety, medications. So I think that that's what's happening, is that Sarah, he's getting anxious because he's losing his erection. So he can't think of anything else. He can't think about your breast. He can't think about going down on you. But I think what you need to let him know is that it's okay. Because what I've also found is that once you give men something to do and you take the pressure off their penis and you're like, hello, have you met my clitoris? Have you seen my nipples? This is what I like. Then they're focused on another project, another thing, and sometimes their erections magically come back because they're focused on your pleasure. They're engaged in that task, and they want to please you. I believe that most of our partners want to please us. And so I would just tell them, like, well, this is what I really like. I think you got to talk to them. So I don't know if you had the conversation outside the bedroom where you say, you know what, let's talk about our sex life. I understand sometimes you lose an erection. That's totally, I don't think we should trip on it. Comes back eventually, because it does usually come back. But you could say, here's what I love. And I know I've mentioned this to you before, but sometimes I think maybe you don't know what I like. So let me show you what I like. Like, show him how you like to be touched. Show him what kind of touch feels good on your nipples. Show him what feels good on your body. I think a lot, and remember, you're in your early 20s. I'm going to assume that neither one of you have a lot of sexual experience yet with sexually healthy relationships. You might have had a lot of sex, but it doesn't mean they were healthy and communicative. So I agree. Do not commit to anybody until you find out if you're sexually compatible. But the only way you're going to find that out is if you talk about it and you experiment and see if he's receptive to it. And then if he's not, he's like, I don't want to work on it, I don't want to talk about it. Well, then you have your answer. All right, Sarah? We'll be right back after a short break for our sponsors. But first, let me tell you all about Lalo. Ever since I launched my storefront, one of the best-selling toys has been Lalo's Enigma Cruise, which is why I'm so excited to share with you all that there's been a new addition to the Lalo Enigma range, introducing the Enigma Double Sonic. This vibrator uses deep sonic technology to target pleasure to your A-spot. What's the A-spot? Well, it's located slightly behind your G-spot and can provide powerful orgasms unlike any other. But don't worry, the Enigma Double Sonic does not exclude any of your other spots. This toy can simultaneously provide stimulation to the A spot, the G spot, and the clitoris. This means 3 different O's for the price of 1. That's quite a deal. And if that's not enough for you, you can even connect your phone via Bluetooth to orgasm hands-free. You can choose between several different modes to curate the perfect orgasm for you. Just dial it up on your phone. I love Lalo. I've been using their products for years. They're a wonderful, trustworthy company that makes beautiful products that last for years and years to come. So make sure you check out the new and improved Enigma Double Sonic. You guys are not going to want to miss out on this one. So pick it up today at lalo.com and be sure to use my code SEXWITHEMILY for 25% off all other products. That's LELO.com. Use code SEXWITHEMILY at checkout to save 25% off all other products, or just click the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to talk to Billy. Hi, Billy. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Emily.
Hi. I've been thinking this would be happening. Tell me everything.
So I'm 42, single, and I've been working as a massage therapist, and I work in hotels and resorts for many, many years. And there's never really been any issues, maybe because of the different type of location that I'm in. But during COVID, I've moved to doing, since most of them have closed down or don't offer services, to doing my own services and just posting in different areas to kind of build up my business. And lately, I've been having more and more women who want me to bring them to orgasm. And it's not done through penetration or anything of myself. I'm fully clothed. And at first, it kind of took me by surprise. shocked by it. But then after a while, it's kind of like enjoyable of the power of doing it. And it's just kind of odd at this point. Just what your thoughts were on.
Wow. So Billy, you're actually doing it. So I have a question. So you're going into their homes and you're bringing them to orgasm by rubbing their clitoris?
Exactly. It's all hand. It's all through my hand, nothing else. I mean, I stay fully in my, typical what I wear, which is, just a t-shirt and a white, some kind of pants or something. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing where I'm doing anything more than using my hands. But and it's funny how you can kind of tell when they want it to be done. And I think some of it has been, it's you kind of pick up the sense and you kind of just, but it's enjoyable, right? And I enjoy being able to do that for other people. But I'm just concerned now that it's just becoming, not really. It's not part of my industry, and I really.
Well, I know it's really not. But I mean, we always hear men do this all the time, and now women, and so and you're actually doing it. So is it repeat people, or it's just you're just finding that women are?
Yeah, it's not all the time, obviously, but as I have got a little bit of a repeat business, then I've had other people call me, say they met with, a certain person and can I come over? And it's funny, they don't have the same sign kind of like the way you could tell they want you to touch them. And you try to hold back and then it's just, I think really just the feeling of doing it. And I don't know if you call it power, if that's the right word, of bringing someone to orgasm because they're enjoying it is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it is pretty cool. So you sound like, how long does it take for the average woman to have an orgasm with your hands?
It's a full hour massage, and generally most of them about halfway through it because you start on your belly, and when you're working the body and then the thighs, you could tell that just the way they kind of move that they want you to do more.
Ramon called in, a caller, and he has a message saying that he's a criminal defense attorney, and he says to make sure that you have consent, written and verbal, from your clients.
That's actually a great idea, yes.
I would do that, Billy, because it could get, you just don't know, it could get messy. And I just don't want you to lose your massage license, and it is still illegal in this country. But I get it. Yes, it says here, someone said that SB 233 passed January 21st, 2020, solicitation and other sex work related offenses are still illegal in the state of California and may be punishable by up to 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine. So you don't know these women. You don't know what someone might fall in love with you. They might start texting, and you know what I mean? Like it could get messy, and especially because they're telling all of their friends. Now, a way to go around that, if you want to go to school you could become a sexological body worker, which is what some of my friends do here. And that's where you can actually work with people, women, and help them with arousal and help them with orgasm. They wear gloves and it's a whole process. I thought this has been happening, and I even had friends a few years ago say to me, I had a few married friends saying, where men get happy endings all the time, and where can women go? And I honestly think that it's a good service to do. I think that, but it's I think you got to cover your ass here. And is there anyone that you're attracted to?
With most of the people who want it, I don't think looking for anything more, quite honestly, and it's just the desire. And maybe it's just the person who really know, and it's over and it's gone, and there's nothing any more than my hand.
It's really, I know, but that's pretty good. And no lube, and you're just like rubbing them. Do they all want, I'm just curious, do they all want?
No. There's always massage oil and so forth, obviously for the massage process. Yeah.
Right. Does it ever take a while, or does it take quick? How long I'm just curious how long it takes. And just external?
Most of the time, external always, and most of the time it's fairly quick only because it's part of the entire hour massage. So the build up, if you will, the foreplay, I guess you would call it, is there, and then the sensation of getting closer to the area, I guess, is to that build up of arousal, and then the actual stimulation really doesn't take that long, to be honest, on most people.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, is when there's a delay or when there's a like a buildup or there's tension because it's something you shouldn't do, which is why, the anticipation is what's really hot. But some questions are, first off, do you Like first off, an angry partner, like a woman could tell her partner, like, oh, this masseuse did something, and then he could come after you, right? Like they could try to ruin your life for your business.
Yep.
And also some other questions here for my team are like, do you get more money or better business from doing it? Like, is it growing your business and are you getting good tips?
It's not growing my business as much as I would say, but you do get extra dollars for doing it. And I don't really do it for that reason. I think it's more the fact that I know this sounds really weird. Like I'm helping somebody, like
you are.
They need that, and I'm helping them achieve that without breaking certain barriers of actual penetration, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I mean it really is a service, and I wish that we could legalize it, sex work here. So we could just have some, it clearly isn't, it's the oldest profession in the world, right? And it sounds like right now you're having pretty good boundaries, although I would kind of tighten this stuff up by getting consent, especially if it's someone who's hitting you up that said, oh, Jane sent me, then you know what that means now. It's like code word for a happy ending. And so, but it also makes sense during COVID that women are kind of like, I need this. I need a release. I need human contact. And it just, I wish that we had, yeah, they do. They miss intimacy, really. It's just funny because I've gotten so many massages in my lifetime, a lot, different countries. And I've never had anybody do that. I've never had anybody suggestively do anything that felt inappropriate. I know that many women have, I just haven't. So it's like, there must be something that, you are suggestively doing that's encouraging it. Cause I would never come onto it. I mean, actually I did hook up with a therapist once, but I ran into him that night and I was like, that was a great massage. And then we had sex. But I wasn't on the table. He wasn't touching me in any way. I wished he would have at the time. I was like, oh, what a good massage. So I think it's about boundaries, and I get that it's also really powerful too. And I understand that. I'm wondering if there's other ways you could explore this. Do you have a partner now? Are you with anybody?
No, not right now. No.
Okay.
But still, it sounds like I should kind of pull back from it though, because I don't want to lose my license, nor do I want to get in trouble for it.
You really don't. I mean, that's the thing. I just don't. I mean, you think someone seems like a nice person and they tell their partner, oh, I wish you were as good as the massage. I wish you were as good as Billy, my massage therapist. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then there goes your career. I don't think it's worth it if you really like being a massage therapist. But I think almost that would even be better for you if there was more kind of consent around it and you set it up in a way that people were consenting and you had him sign something. I mean, I would do some research because I'm sure this exists, but the way you're going now, you have a good streak. And I just think, if you do it legally in a way where it's a consensual relationship, you might have a booming business right now.
Yeah. It's nothing I would ever do back in a hotel or spa because of the liability there, but I just kind of fell into it, doing it on my own in people's homes.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I heard women asking for this in the last few years, more so, but definitely during COVID, it's a thing. So, well, thanks for sharing that, Billy. I would just try to do some research.
Thank you. Bye.
Of course. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate it. That's it for today's episode. See you on Friday. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily, and be sure to like, subscribe, and give us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, and share this with a friend or a partner. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or X, and Facebook, all at Sex with Emily. Oh, and I've been told I give really good emails, so sign up at sexwithemily.com. And while you're there, check out my free guides and articles for more ways to prioritize your pleasure. And if you want to ask me about your sex life, dating, or relationships, call my hotline, 559-TALK-SEX. That's 559-825-5739. Or go to sexwithemily.com/askemily. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.